Good morning YouTube, it's the Lofty Biker here, coming for a change today, going up to Indian Queens in Middle Cornwall to the largest multi-franchise dealer we've got, Damerell's. Nice dealership, very friendly, and they're going to lend me a bike to take out to review for you. So I'll be with you in a minute on something different. Good morning YouTube, what do we have here? 2021 Africa Twin Adventure Sports. That's about right. So, side stands up, engage drive, we don't need to wait for the screen, here we go. Oh, very comfy, lots of leg room. I'm just going to nip up the petrol station, put some fuel in and take this big boy for a blast. I'd like to say once again thank you very much to Damerell's as Indian Queens and Mark especially for lending me the bike. Touch sensitive screen. Okay, we're in tour mode, doing 30 miles an hour, and all of a sudden we're in 6th gear. So I'm just going to gravel, urban, so it's tour, user 2, user 1, off-road, gravel, urban. Now I'm going to leave it in urban for a bit because that's the more livelier of the modes, and I'm going to leave the gearbox in drive. It's very relaxed in drive. It does upshift extremely quickly. You've got the flappy panels like on most of the DCTs. I'll reset the mirrors a little bit in a minute. I'm just gonna get some petrol. I'll see you in a moment. And we're away. I think this is a pretty brand new bike, it's not done many miles. It's the latest 2021 Africa Twin Adventure Sport. Seat feels a tad on the firm side, and there is a lot of buttons. It's got the posh electronic suspension. I've only got a quick blast out on this because somebody's got it booked for a demo. So I've got about 40 minutes or so. So I'll just do one lap and a bit of a walk around. The sun's gone in a little bit. Okay, first impressions is very comfortable. Let's get those mirrors up a little bit. That's better. When you're in drive, there's very little engine baking. First thing I notice, it seems to hold its speed a little bit. I'll take a right down onto the main road. Slow speed manoeuvre, extremely easy. I did ride the 2018 Adventure Sport last year. This bike is different altogether. It's a whole new ball game. Tubeless rims, everything, new dash, the lot. We're on about the 6th generation DCT gearbox in it. Everything seems to have moved on a lot technology wise in the last couple of years. These TFT dashes, they're all the rage. Just a bit of back brake. Yeah, the handlebars feel perfect for me. The indicator button's a bit easier on this one than some Hondas. So we're in drive mode. The most economical of all the modes. Cruising speed of 60 there's a lot of buffeting around the helmet. You can adjust the screen, but it's a two-handed affair. I don't really want to do it on the move, so I'm going to pull over and I'm going to raise it into its highest position. We're okay along here. There's a little bit safe place at the side. There's nobody about, so it's thumbs on each side. Lift it up. We're all clear. Away we go again. So now the screen is in its highest position. It's got a little hole at the bottom to allow equalisation of turbulence. Yeah, it's still pretty noisy. It's quite funny. I went out on the ADVS this morning and the screen was absolutely sublime on that. This is quite a noisy screen in general. I hope you can hear me. I'll just move forward and duck. Up and back. I'm not so sure. You get this with big bikes. Sometimes you think the screens, that can do more damage than good. I definitely don't think the low position was good, and I don't think the high position was good. This might be a case of you either need a big barn door or probably no screen at all. Just cog it down a couple using the thumb. Sometimes you just have to remind the gearbox what you're going to do. In drive, it certainly changes gear very, very quickly. So we're up to cruising speed again, 60 mile an hour in D mode. So I'm just going to reach over and change the mode. Right, that's dropped us into Sport 2. Now, there's 3 sport modes. Sport 1, Sport 2 and Sport 3. And each one is progressively more aggressive. It doesn't matter what mode you're in or what drive you're in the gearbox, you've still got the full power. It's about 110 brake. I'll talk about that when I do the Walkaround. But they say Sport 2 is probably the most what the average sort of biker uses, so yeah, instant pick up for an overtake. I'm not sure how well you can see the screen. I'll just dip my head a bit. It's a nice screen. We're doing 60 mile an hour. Like I say, I just twisted the throttle back there. We dispatched the car easily. Once you're in sport mode doing 60 mile an hour, the parallel twin vibrations do drop away. But when it drops down a bit low, sometimes you can just feel it. So just give it a bit of a thumb prod and it drops a cog. Another one, drops another cog, and straight away it evens it out a little bit. Like I say, you do need to sort of remind the gearbox. I believe that these DCTs do learn, eventually, as you ride them more, they do learn your characteristics. But if you're going up the box, sometimes you need to just drop it up one occasionally, and if you're coming down towards an island, say, or anything like that, you need to just drop it down one and remind it. So I'm going to just drop it a couple. See if we can get a nice little overtake in here. Moving over to the left. No, nothing there, nothing available, just drop back a little bit. Seat does feel firm. I can move around, I can go forward and backwards. Loads of leg room. When on the medium seat, in the high setting, there are 3 seats and you can go high and low in all 3. I'm a big chap, 6'5". After riding my normal bike, my RS, this feels quite comfortable. I can move my feet around easy. So I've got the sports seat on my RS, which is 840. This is a little bit higher and I find it easier to move my feet around. So here we do, we're approaching the island. Just knock it down one manually, just to remind it. As I said before, slow speed manoeuvres are very, very good. We're going to go around the island and pick up the road. There's a nice little space here for a walk around. As I say, I've not got long on this bike. Pickup's nice. So I'm just going to pull in here and do a walk around, and then we'll give it a bit of stick around the lanes. So just bear with me while I change cameras and take a few photographs. Good morning YouTube, the Lofty Biker here. As you can see in the background, I've got something tasty for you to have a look at. Just picked this little beast up from Damerell's. It is the 2021 Africa Twin CRF1100L. This is the top of the range adventure sports. All the bells, all the whistles, singing and dancing. So I'm going to flip the camera around and let you have a look. Okay, so here we are. The Africa Twin in beautiful black. Bit of a walk round. Honda CRF1100L Africa Twin 2021. These boys started about 13.5 grand, going up to about 18.5 for the adventure sport. Beautiful looking bike. They've actually lowered the seat over the previous model. The back is quite high. Takes some getting over. I've noticed when Dickie Vegas rides his, he leaves it on the side stand and he mounts by putting his foot onto the left peg first, which is a good method for getting on. So I'm just going to come in closer, show you the dash, turn the key. First of all, you'll notice is this little dash here lights up. And then just get the old Africa Twin sign. Can you see that coming through okay? Africa Twin. It is touch sensitive. I believe it's pressure sensitive. So you can do it with gloves on as well. So you just press OK. And there you are. I'm not sure what the picture's like. It probably isn't a lot of bottle. But I'm riding in urban mode at the moment. So I'll just tell you a little bit more about the bike. This, as I say, is the DCT. It's 1100, CRF 1100. It is actually a 1084. It's a parallel twin with a DCT gearbox. This is generation 6, I believe. It's got a 248 kilo curb weight, very nice. It's not too heavy, not too light. Feels quite good actually. Upswept pipe, of course. It's got a new 6.5 inch touchscreen. It's also got a speedometer just below it, so when you're using CarPlay, I'll just talk about that in a moment. I might as well mention it now. You can connect CarPlay. This has got connectivity whether you've got an iPhone or Android. They have done the deal now so you can use Android telephones or iPhones. The connectivity allows you to put all sorts of stuff on. You can have the sat-nav coming on your screen and everything, but you can still see the speedo, of course. It's got heated grips, cruise control, all the nonsense, the lot. 24 litre fuel tank. I believe fully loaded, fully fueled up, you can get up to 500 kilometres out of these bikes, which I think is absolutely sublime. It is 100.6 brake horsepower at 7,500 revs, 105 newton metres at about 6,250 revs. It's got the brand new Showa EERA suspension, adaptive suspension. It's got a seat height of between 850 and 870, depending on you. Like I said when I was riding along, there's 3 different seats. The low seat comes in at 825 to 845. It's got a 21 inch front. It's got 18 inch rear, spoked but tubeless. It's the similar system to what they use on the BMs. The actual spokes come to the outside of the rim. I'll come round and show you, give you a little look at it. So there's the rear tyre and there's your spokes. As you can see, they're actually fitted into the rim here. Nissin brakes, front and back combined. In general, nice finished off, good looking bike. As I say, I'm not so sure about this screen. It does seem to give me some buffeting. It might be the angle. Sometimes by tilting the screens, you can actually alter it. hand guards, yeah, pretty much in general very good. So I'm going to get my helmet on and give it a bit of a ride round and show you what it's like. But in sport, urban, get it up to 40. There we are, cruising along at 40. Let's try the brakes, nobody about. Yeah, we get quite a bit of dive, but not bad at all. So let's get it up to 40 again. Just knock it in. So there we are, 40 mile an hour, back brake. Not bad at all. It actually changed gear as well. It did you hear the auto blip? The auto blip came in, changed the gear. Very nice. I'd say the back brake, I'd give the back brake a good 6.5 out of 10. And I'd give the front brakes a good 8. So as I say, we're in urban mode, in Sport 2. Steering's very light, let's give it a bit of a ride. Drops into corners, beautiful. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is easy to ride. The actual size, physical size of the bike, you don't notice once you're rolling. Yeah, the auto blip. It's great that is, because normally when you're on a bike with a quick shifter, you have to blip it yourself. This actually does the auto blip. As I said before, when you're approaching islands and instances where you need the brakes, thanks mate, you do need to gradually just give it a bit of a click to knock it down once. It's likewise on the up when you're in. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. So 30, we start to roll on the throttle. It's holding it. Now it changed nicely that time, but sometimes it seems to hold it longer than you'd want. And all you do is you just use your finger on the paddle on the outside and just knock it up, snick it up a gear, and in it drops. I do like it in sport mode. So there we go. Yeah, although it's only 100 brake, you don't really miss it. I'd be interested to see what it's like 2 up. You know, 2 people on it, what sort of pickup it is. But I suppose once you're in 2 up mode and 2 in, you've got a different attitude to the amount of power you want anyway. It's not like you're out for a bit of a Sunday afternoon blast with the lads. You just don't notice there's no clutch. Unbelievable. As I say, I roaded the 2018 bike. In fact, I liked it so much, the old red, white and blue tooth, that I did want one. But by the time I'd come round to sort of thinking I was in a position where I could buy one, there was none left. All that was left were manuals. And to be honest with you, I don't care what anybody says, there's no way I would buy the manual over the DCT. No possible way. I've ridden a few DCT bikes now, and I think it is awesome. Absolutely sublime. It's just getting used to the vagrancies of it, or vagaries of it. Like I say, sometimes you have to give it a bit of an helping hand to remind it which way it's going. At the end of the day, the computer's good, but it's not brilliant. Bit of loose crap on the road there, dropping to 30 through the village. You do get a lot more engine braking on the 1100 than what you did on the 750. I don't know why. Thank you, mate. But you do. We just clear the village and give it a bit of a tickle again. See there, I just give it a bit of a finger click to drop it up a cog. And another one there. Now I'm just in S2, 40 mile an hour, so you pull the throttle back and it starts to pick up nicely. To be honest with you, before you realise it, you're doing illegal speeds, and I'm not really trying. I'll just thumb it down and a bit of brake. Thumb it again, there you go. You don't need manual mode, I don't care what anybody says. If you're in traffic, and you don't know where you want to be, whether you want to be going quick or slow, you just do not need it. You just leave it in auto all the time. Like I say, if I was out 2 up, I would have it in tour mode, and I'd leave it in drive. Most economical, easiest way to go. But of course, I'm out on my own today, and I'm having a bit of a test ride, so I've got it in urban, and I've got it in S2. On the earlier bike, it was either Sport or S1, and I thought S1 was the mode. On this, S2 is probably the mode. I wouldn't want the throttle and the changes to be any more abrupt than this. I find this is really good, and like I say, giving it a bit of an helping hand every now and again, superb. As I get used to the screen, it's not that bad, to be fair. When you're riding around normal, but you know, everyday road speeds between 30 and 60, this screen is perfectly adequate. It's just occasionally when you're on the motorway, you get a bit of buffeting. It does get a bit wearing sometimes. I love that auto blip, I really like that. You don't get a lot of fork dive under driving. I've hardly used the back brake except for stability. Where you going, mate? You've got your indicator on and you're on the left hand side of the road. Well, there's nothing down there, it's a dead end. It's also except for access. But still. You can change the suspension from rider to rider and pillion and luggage. It all comes up on the dash. What I'm going to do, I'm coming to the junction. I'm just going to switch over. One push puts you in drive mode, and I'm going to knock it into tour. As I said, 6'5" on the medium seat in the high setting. I find touching the ground easy. So here we are now, nice and relaxed in tour mode. So I'm not sure whether you can see the dash. I'll try and come down a little bit for you. We're doing 54 miles an hour. We're in 6th gear drive. We've got a nice petrol gauge, easy to see, temperature gauge, then you've got all your modes underneath of what's happening. Flick the wrong way. So using the joystick, just flicking across. When you're in tour, you've got 4 different settings. You've got trip meter A, trip meter B, and all these you've got your consumption, you've got instant, I'm doing 65, 69 point gallon instantly. It's quite intuitive. There are a lot of buttons, an awful lot of buttons. They're not lit up. I should imagine at night you wouldn't want to mess or be doing anything with the buttons at night because you can't see them and there's so many of them. You probably would get used to it eventually. Yeah, it's very easy, very relaxing to ride. In tour mode, in drive. I find the drive is slightly nicer on this than the earlier model. And I like the engine braking. The one thing I'm not keen on is the reach across to the actual mode. So I'm going to put the cruise, drop it in cruise. Cruise control's dead easy. You activate it and then you just push the little button down. Now it's in cruise, I can change the mode, throttle off, and it changes. So straight away we're in S2. Drop a cog, get ready for the overtake. There's not one on, so I'll just drop back slightly. We're clear behind. Road's clear, away we go. Nice easy pickup. Easy overtakes. I can't actually, apart from the screen's a bit different, can't really see any downsides to it as a motorbike. it's got a few additions to it, like I say, over the 18 plate, but I wouldn't put you off buying an 18 plate. Yeah, that I don't know whether you can actually see, but that reach across to the mode, there's your mode buttons, your manual, your drive. To change from, you just press it and we're back in drive, more relaxed. As I say, you can only use the cruise control in third gear and above, and it cuts out automatically at 100 mile an hour. Well, so it should do. We're not on an autobahn. I'll just drop the cruise on, so we're in top gear now, 55 mile an hour. So I just change it, throttle off, we're in sport mode. Drop a cog. I must admit, I do keep catching the downshift for the indicator cancel. I'm pressing the indicator cancelling, thinking I'm changing down a gear, and I'm actually pressing the cancel button. But that's something you'd get used to. They have hidden the horn button away more on this than they do with some of the others. I'll just let this chap turn right. So we're in second gear. Let's pull the throttle back. The one thing they seem to have done with this bike is, although it doesn't appear to have a vast amount, thank you very much, it doesn't have a vast amount of power at 100 brake, it does have a lot of torque. Then really, the pickup then in second gear, up to illegal speeds, there's nobody about, it happens. It's so easy. I'm just gonna go around the island and back down. Holds a line lovely around the island. Just make sure nobody pulls out. No, all clear. So away we go again. We've picked up some traffic again, but we are taking a right very shortly back to Indian Queens. Can be very lazy when you want, even in sport mode can be very lazy. You feel it just drop down there slightly, no problem at all. Here's our turning. I'll flick the indicator on. Cross the traffic, I'll just pull in here. I'll have a look at this screen. Like I said, it's a two-hand affair. I'll just drop it back down. I think that's all the way. I can understand why Dickie Vegas bought one of these. I know he loves his VFR, but he borrowed this, what he calls the big boy or the big lad, and took it up to Scotland in the wicked, freezing, crappy weather and ice and snow, and never felt in problems with it. And I can understand that. It is a bike, thank you, that gives you lots of confidence. And once you're on, once you're actually seated, it doesn't feel big and tall. And because you've got those wide bars, it's not ungainly at all. I think Honda have done a good job now. They've got the two formats. I say the two formats. You've got the standard Africa Twin. It's got tube tyres. It's more off-road orientated. This is the Adventure Sport. It's more of a touring bike, a tall rounder, adventurer. It's got the tube tyres, which I prefer. I really wouldn't fancy going touring without something you could plug. So for me, the tubes, I suppose if you wanted if you didn't want the Adventure Sport, you could always put the Adventure Sport wheels in the standard Africa Twin. Don't know what the luggage is like. I know they do a plastic luggage and a hard metal luggage. I'm not sure how they'd be day to day, but I should imagine they'd be okay. But like anything, when you buy OEM, it's expensive. I'm just going to knock it back in drive again. There we go. Just pootle back up. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I know it's only been a small one, but I've thoroughly enjoyed riding this bike. Like I said, I could honestly see me having an Africa Twin. It's so comfortable. Anyway, if you've enjoyed what you see, just click that like button or subscribe. Leave a comment below what you think, what you'd like to see, or you wouldn't like to see, what you're happy with. So once again, I'd like to thank Mark at Damerell's in Indian Queens. Give him a ring. They've got loads of bikes on demo. There's more and more coming in all the time. And well, this is the Lofty Biker saying ta-ra for now. Ta-ra.